Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel. Get yourselves locked in. It is deadline day, which means today we are going to be live from 3 p.m. UK time until the 7 p.m. deadline. That's a 4-hour live stream here on GBFC, covering everything that there is to cover about Chelsea's business and all of the business on the mini deadline day. The window is closing for 6 days and then it will reopen again on the 16th of June. But for Chelsea, we have obviously got ongoing business that I'm uploading this video at 7 a.m, the regular Chelsea news slot here on GBFC. And maybe by the time the stream starts at 3, we're either going to be nervous, we're either going to be waiting, or potentially celebrating the signing of a new player, or maybe two. Who knows? Today, we're going to give the latest on all of that, but I want to first of all, I was thinking like, do we go straight into transfer news here? We can't go straight into transfer news because Roman Abramovich needs some airtime here because his new book was released today and it came out in the middle of the night UK time. So I was literally sat here in the swimming pool reading this book all afternoon and I'm about 35% through the whole book. And I'll tell you this, right? Chelsea Football Club, we are blessed, absolutely blessed to have had Roman Abramovich, who took over in 2003, and reading about his story, reading about everything that he's been doing since the club were taken from him, I'm like, we have to just show respect for this man. Because reliving the whole story of the Champions League win in 2012, of winning the league under Jose Mourinho, the way that Roman Abramovich was on this ruthless pursuit to make Chelsea the greatest club in Europe, to win the Champions League, to make us the best club in London, the best club in England. We are so lucky to have had an owner that was dedicated to winning at all costs. And instead of using this moment to be like, we were so lucky, now we've got Blueco, I want to use this moment to say this. If you read the book by Roman Abramovich, it's called Sanctioned. Obviously, it's not written by Abramovich himself. It's written by Nick Purewall. I think he's done an amazing job from what I've read in the first 35% of it. But what I'll say to these new owners, we were left in an amazing position from a guy that was obsessed with the love of football. He went to a game at Old Trafford, watched Man United versus Real Madrid, saw it finish 4-3, and from that moment, all he wanted to do was own a club. Chelsea was his baby, and it was taken away by the UK government. And as a result of that, Blueco came in. Todd Boehly heading up the consortium, having wanted to buy Chelsea back in 2018-19, but Abramovich said no, because he wanted to keep the club. He never wanted to give it up. And this book goes into so much detail. I could sit here for an hour based on what I've already read. I will talk about it more in the live stream that we do today. Chelsea and the way that we are ran now, it's very different. But I will say this, the fact that we were left debt-free, we should be very grateful for that. The fact that we won so many trophies, I was almost emotional when I was reading it and reminding myself of flipping heck, my whole life I grew up. And since 9 years old, Roman Abramovich was there. And as a result of the way that he came in and just revolutionized it and spent loads of money, yeah. But we won so many trophies. The best moments of my life were because that guy ran our football club and owned our club. So again, thank you to Roman. I strongly advise, even if like you're just like a part-time Chelsea fan, read this book so that you get an understanding of who we are, where we come from, and why we need to adhere to the highest possible standards. That's all I'm going to say on it for now. Make sure you read it for yourself. It's a journey. Honestly, it's made me very emotional. I'm not even halfway through it yet. So without any further ado, let's move now into the transfer news. So Mike Maignan is obviously the biggest one. This is the one that I think pretty much the whole fan base right now is like, we really want to get this one done. I want to see Mike Maignan as Chelsea's goalkeeper in 6 days' time in Atlanta when we play LAFC. So at the moment, we are still very much up in the air about this one. Simon Johnson was one of the latest to report, and this is what he said. There is still time for a breakthrough before tomorrow's deadline, today, but CFC not too confident of agreeing a fee for Mike Maignan with AC Milan as things stand right now. There is also further updates. Fabrizio Romano says negotiations still underway for Mike Maignan, club to club, with Chelsea on it 1 till the deadline. This was late yesterday. AC Milan and Chelsea are again in direct contact today for Mike Maignan to discuss terms of the deal. Maignan remains keen on joining Chelsea, with player pushing for the deal, but up to the clubs now. We know that Mike Maignan has been doing absolutely everything that he can to tell Milan, I'm not signing that new contract. I want to play for Chelsea. Personal terms, not going to be an issue. It's already agreed with Mike Maignan. So now it's all about AC Milan. And the rumours coming out of Italy, it's quite interesting. If you follow the reports in Italy and you follow all of whatever journalists you follow, or maybe you just wait and watch these videos on GBFC, but everyone's saying, well, Chelsea are offering more money now. And the rumour was it was 18 million, 19 million pounds. That was coming out of a few journalists in Italy. And if that's the case, right, there's a couple of ways to look at this, right? We should have just gone for 20 million. Go in with 20 million, stop trying to save $1 million here and $1 million there, and get the man through the door. Or AC Milan are like, you know what? We're going to push this all the way to deadline day. We're going to try and play Chelsea's hand. We're either going to try and force them to play the long game, and maybe Chelsea do stick around after that 10th of June deadline today, and they will pay the money eventually, or we'll lower the price if Mike Maignan keeps pushing for it. But look, Chelsea right now, I've said this all along. We're in a position where the goalkeeper wants to come. The price, I don't care what anyone says. A 29-year-old goalkeeper who is probably top 5, top 6 keepers in the world for £20 million is an absolute steal, regardless of what the paperwork says. It's an absolute steal, and it solves the goalkeeping conundrum that has been here for years. Edouard Mendy had one great season, won the Champions League, conceded less goals than anyone's ever done in the Champions League. But we have been trying to fill the void of that one season from Mendy that he was unbelievable. The goalkeeping position is one of the most important, fundamental, key positions in any team. So if we end up losing out on this deal because we're not willing to pay an extra 2 million, 1 million, I think it's crazy. And again, I don't want to keep bringing it back to what we're reading about Abramovich, but Chelsea were ruthless back in the day. When things weren't working out, we didn't think, we just acted. And I think this is one of those moments, right, where the sporting directors have come under a lot of stick over the course of the last couple of years. And we've seen on a couple of the big deals where Chelsea haven't got the man. Obviously with Elise, I think he decided to go somewhere else. We didn't get the Osimhen deal over the line at the end of last summer's transfer window. This one, it's in the palm of our hands. And if we don't get this done today, and I don't know why, we will go out and keep buying kids that might never play for Chelsea for 15, 20 million, but we can't find the extra couple for this one. I'm not saying that it's bad until it's not done, but if we don't get this one done, I think it's a massive failure from the sporting directors again. I think it's a ridiculous way of prioritising funds. I think this is a no-brainer transfer for Chelsea. And look, I'm not doubting it right now because I still think this one is going to happen. And I'm not just looking at one tweet from Simon Johnson. Look, there's so many different avenues you can look at. Fabrizio Romano, at the time of me recording this, early morning UK, 3-4 a.m. UK time when I'm recording this video for you lot, he's got it pinned on his account. You know, I think Mike Maignan will sign, and we will find out today, because all we've heard all week is that Chelsea, if we don't sign Maignan before this deadline day today, then we are not going to be interested because we're happy with the goalkeepers we've got at the club. And realistically, I think Petrovic should be the number one if we don't sign Maignan. I'll be excited to see him given a shot, especially in the Club World Cup moving forward. So let's see where we go with this today. Marcus Bettinelli is a here we go to Manchester City. I spoke about this yesterday. And as much as, I'm not going to over-dramatize this, I'm not going to make it into something more than it needs to be, I do find this one just a little bit jarring. Do you know what I mean? It's a homegrown player for Manchester City. I think Bettinelli's just always been one of those players that the squad can look up to. So I don't want to overstate it, but I also don't think we can underestimate how liked he was, how he was a glue figure in that squad. But I guess I wish him the best of luck, really. He's not going to be doing much, is he? He's just probably going to be lifting trophies and getting paid a decent wage. So fair play to the bloke. If he wants to get into coaching, he's going to be learning under Pep Guardiola. Well done to him. The next piece of news here, Chelsea's under-21 striker, Donald McNeely, has rejected a contract offer to stay at Stamford Bridge and is planning to leave this summer. The 19-year-old, among the leading scorers in the youth ranks in recent years, is looking to leave in order to get first-team football. So when Chelsea are going out there and we're buying loads of players and we keep buying strikers, and you've got Nicholas Jackson, you've got Mark Guiu, you've got Liam Delap, young strikers that are coming through the academy, doesn't really matter how many goals you score in the academy level, that step up into the first team is huge. And for some of the players, they never quite make it. And I think at Chelsea now, with this policy that we have, which is to sign a lot of young developmental talent, there is going to be a large amount of the players that have been in the youth setup from a young age that will look at this and think, well, I don't see a pathway into the first team. And we've been blessed last season. Massive credit to Maresca, because he did use so many academy players, even if it was just a couple of minutes here or a couple of minutes there. I personally love it. I think it's something that since Roman Abramovich created Cobham and this incredible academy that we've got at Chelsea, that was Roman's work. And since then, every time one of those players from the youth setup, from that academy, plays for us, it's a brilliant celebration of who we are as a football club and how we have been able to develop one of the best academies in the world. So Donald McNeely is scoring loads of goals at youth level, and if he's not going to sign a new deal at Chelsea, this is part and parcel of signing loads of young players from foreign countries and foreign leagues. This is what we're going to have to come to expect. Another transfer that Chelsea are looking to get done on deadline day potentially is Jamie Gittins. I think in terms of probability and what's likely, I think Mike Maignan is a lot more likely on deadline day than Jamie Gittins. Dortmund here, they've been very frustrating for Chelsea because Chelsea have obviously gone in with what they think is a fair offer, which fair enough to Dortmund. If it's not what they want, fine. But they've been raising their price non-stop. Dortmund now apparently want 70 million euros. And the reason for that is they know that Chelsea want the player. They know Maresca wants to take him to the Club World Cup. So put that price as high as possible. If Chelsea want him, they'll come and get him. Because we've seen before, Chelsea, we can quite often spend stupid amounts of money on players. This summer, it feels as though we're not going to do that. And in some cases, like the Mike Maignan deal, this could make us look stupid. But in other cases like Jamie Gittins, I don't think we should be going out there and paying 70 million euros. If you're going to go and spend 70 million euros, Rafael Leao is available right now. You go and spend the money on him. We've been on the flipping buzzer to AC Milan all flipping day, all evening, discussing Mike Maignan. Get that one done and call with 2 flipping phones if you got to. We've got it here, mate. Give him a buzz. Call Rafael Leao. Call Mike Maignan. Let's make it a double swoop, shall we? No, to be quite honest, let's just flip and get the Mike Maignan deal done. I'm actually feeling like it's going to be so deflating if we don't sign Mike Maignan. Do you remember the deadline day stream I did last year for Osimhen? I was live for 14 hours and we ended up with Jadon Sancho. And to be fair, it was a bit deflating at the time. And now looking back on it, still a bit deflating really, isn't it? The next piece of news here. Jamie Gittins is the priority for the Club World Cup, but Alejandro Garnacho remains a player appreciated by Chelsea. And I feel as though this deadline day, there might be some swings, some roundabouts, some stings in the tail, some dramatic changes. If Gittins isn't approachable, I really hope Chelsea don't panic. I think Garnacho, as much as, I'd obviously support him if he was to join the club. I'd want him to perform. I want him to kickstart immediately. Garnacho comes to Chelsea. I'm not going to just sit here and be like, I don't want him to do well. Of course I want him to do well. If we're going to spend money on any footballer, I wish them all the best. I just flipping hope that if Garnacho were to come to Chelsea, he doesn't bring all of that baggage from Manchester United with him. Because for a player that has not achieved anything yet in his career, really, he doesn't half think he's a big deal, doesn't he? I would love to see that change if he were to come to Chelsea. Will it? I'm not convinced. I don't really want Chelsea to sign Garnacho. Rodrigo's available. Nico Williams is available. Leao is available. Best in class. Go and get me the best in class players. I don't think we're going to do that today. It is a long transfer window, but let's see what transfers Chelsea can get done for this deadline. We've also got to remember, Benfica wants Joao Felix. We might see him leave today. What fees can Chelsea get for him? Maybe some other players leave to other Club World Cup clubs. It's going to be a fascinating day. And as I said, I'm going to upload this video at 7 a.m, the usual time. Make sure you're subscribed. Get your notifications on, because at 3 p.m. UK time, I'm going live, and we will stay live all the way through to the end of the deadline at 7 p.m. UK. So we're going to be here. We're going to be looking at all the sources. We're going to be putting stuff up on the screen to show you guys what's happening. Hopefully, this ends well. I really, really hope so. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Smack a like if you enjoyed. See you in the stream.